Hey y'all, Billy from Perma Pastures Farm. Beautiful spring day out here today, at least when it wants to be. But don't be shocked if you see me put that sweatshirt on. For some reason, this is one of those days where all day long you're either putting on your sweatshirt or taking it off because the sun's shining. So right now the sun's shining and I am thankful. This is the day the Lord hath made. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. Today we're going to talk about this Comfrey. Now, we could do video after video after video. But folks, all we're going to talk about today is propagation of Comfrey and briefly some of what we do with it. Now, we have a guild here and there's Comfrey, there's onions, there's garlic, there's a whole host of things, blueberries in opposite corners, nitrogen fixing shrubs over here. That's not the star of the show today. The star is this wonderful leaf right here called Comfrey. Now, what do we do with it? Well, anybody, if you go back far enough, you're going to see this tree right here. It had Comfrey obviously growing on three sides of it. And it also had black locust that we didn't plant, that we coppiced, which means we cut down to about ground level, close to it. And then we made a mulch ring around it, which if you get down in here, it's actually breaking down. That's the mulch layer, folks, that we had in here around this tree right before winter. This stuff is so magnificent, but today we're going to talk about its prolific nature and how easy it is to propagate this stuff. Now, if you look behind me, it's everywhere, and that is by design. We use this as animal fodder. We use it for so many things, and we'll cover that later. But right now, I'm going to tell you, we're going to take this out of here, and we're going to show you what we do with it. But first off, because this stuff is so prolific, all I'm going to do is take this handy dandy rice knife and I'm going to cut it off at the base right there. See all that? Now, in the past, like I said, I'd make a mulch ring around it. Now, you'll notice also around here that this stuff is shading out anything that might want to come up in there. Now, admittedly, below this, below all this wood, these wood chips, we have a cardboard layer. Okay, but anything near this and near this tree is going to be shaded out by the Comfrey. So here it is. We got this stuff. Now let's go talk about what we're going to do with it. Michelle's already given them a massive bunch of this stuff today. I'm just going to take it here, and it's cool if they don't eat it all. What's going to happen? They're going to eat what they want, and it's completely okay if they don't use it all because it's going to act in part of the nitrogen layer within this compost pile. Now let's go back here and talk about what else we do with it. All right, here's one of our newer, it was a bare root, Arkansas black apple tree. And folks, all we're gonna do with this one, here's another example of what you can do. Just use it as a green mulch around your tree. And check it out, all that stuff that it bioaccumulated is now on the surface. And if I had a nitrogen fixer nearby, I would go ahead and do that. But if you use Comfrey alone, bam, you got a great mulch layer. Okay, let's go on to propagation now. Okay, now we're ready to talk about propagation. Now, here are the stumps left of the Comfrey I brought out of here, okay? Now, if I were to leave that alone, it's gonna grow up just like it did a while ago. Now, that's not what I wanna do. I wanna actually get it out of the ground. Well, here's one of the roots that broke off down in there. Not a big deal. So, all we're gonna do, we can take all these roots and we can do some really special things with that. But all I wanna do right now, I got a bunch of trees up this row here that don't have Comfrey next to them. Comfrey's pretty hard to find right now. So, what I'm gonna do is really just take this big mound of roots and Comfrey, kind of shake off some of it. It's okay, it doesn't mind if you're a little rough with it. And folks, I gotta say also, this soil right off the bat is already dramatically improved. So all I'm gonna do, and there's a bunch of different ways of going about this. I'm gonna take this machete, I could use my shovel, I could use any number of things. And all I'm gonna do is chop it into quarters. Let's see how sharp this thing is. Maybe Michelle had this thing for a while, so I don't know how this is gonna go. Bam! There's one. And I'm gonna take this one. There's another. And I'm gonna take this one, chop it right there. Now, I could take these roots off, use them for another purpose entirely, another means of propagation. And I'm going to take this one that I pulled out of there. It looks pretty haggard right now, right? Folks, that means absolutely nothing to Comfrey. It really doesn't. In fact, let me take off a couple of more of these. And we're going to stick this, move that. We're going to stick this bad boy right back in the hole. And we're going to cover it right back up. Inside of a month, probably, you won't even know that that just happened. That's how it's going to look like this one here before too long. That's how prolific this stuff is. Now, I got another one here that I cut off, and that's what I made the green mulch out of. Now, we got to figure out what we're going to do with it. All right, here's the one that was next to it. We're going to, this one here, folks, you got options. You can do any number of things. I'm just going to cut it down the middle right here. I'm going to take half of this and set it off to the side. We're going to take some of these roots that I'm going to snap a few of them off. We'll just kind of set them off to the side for now. And if you want to know what we're going to do with those, check us out on Patreon. But the rest of this, by and large, I'm going to take a few more of them. The rest of this, by and large, I'm going to take, wow, I can't believe all the worms here. I'm just going to take this, and I could take more of the roots if I wanted. In fact, I think I will. I'm going to take the rest of this, stick it right back down in the hole, just like that. Now, I could go ahead and mulch this and everything. I could, but it's going to outcompete everything around here. I guarantee it. In fact, in the past, what we've done before, we even take cardboard sometimes to stick it around here. It's just not necessary. So what am I left with? Okay, between the two of those, I got one here, one there. The remnants of what was there. I got some roots here. And like I said, we'll tell you on Patreon exactly what we're going to do with those. Now I got this, and I got this. What am I going to do with them? Well, let's go find out what I'm going to do with them. All right, there you go. 2 Comfrey over there that were completely ready to rock and roll. So what do? We cut them up, quarter them, put 2 of them back in the hole, so we didn't take anything away, just kind of made it restart. We got 2 over here, and we got half a bucket full of roots that we're going to do wonderful things with. So folks, this stuff for us is a magical plant. We cannot get enough. I can't reiterate that enough. We cannot get enough of this stuff. So here it is. Maybe we'll do an update in the future and show you how it's going to go. But this stuff, by and large, you just let it go and it does its own thing. We love Comfrey. No two ways about that. So, folks, I hope this is helpful. This isn't the end-all, be-all when it comes to propagating Comfrey. There's people that run rototillers over this stuff and propagate it that way. So there's a ton of ways in which you can go about doing this stuff. It's not difficult, and it's a highly resilient plant. Wonderful plant. Probably the most useful here. So, folks, I hope this is helpful. So, in the meantime, remember, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Make this stuff known to as many people as you can, because there's never been a more consequential time for people to know these things. So, until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. Right here is the reasons why. We'll see you next time.